Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and I just got paired up playing against DM Captain Obvious in a 15-10 game. Okay, I believe I know who this is. It's one of the tricky knights, I guess we can say. So let's see what Captain Obvious is going to throw at me. They are typing good luck. I will do the same. So we're in for a tough one here for sure. What to throw at Captain Obvious? Alright, how about we try c4? So this is probably the longest time control I've played and recorded. Normally it's 15-2, but you get a faster pairing if it's one of the set time controls. And 15-10 is one of the set ones. So let's see. A Grunfeld or a King's Indian, okay. King's Indian it is. Alrighty. I think I'm going to opt for this h3 line, which rules out any bishop g4 move, and it also secures an eventual bishop on e3 from knight to g4. And I guess we could go even one step further. It prepares potentially a g4 advance. So that stuff that I just stated is a bit more down the line. Let's first things first get a knight on f3 and see what kind of strike black throws at me. c5, e5. In both cases, I'm pretty sure I'm prepared to advance with d5. I've also seen c6, which is looking to combat this trio with d5. Not nearly as common as e5 or c5. Okay, well in this one we have e5. So let's grab some space. And with this we have now a fixed structure in the center. I have some space on the queen side. And now an important moment. I've played positions before where, when the knight comes to c5, and that's the intention right now, putting pressure on e4, I've played queen c2. But you can actually get in some trouble with some sacrifices with the follow-up move bishop f5, and the bishop is opposite your queen. I'm not sure if it's working exactly here, but my idea to combat this e4 pawn will, I guess, just be revealed shortly. I want my bishop out on g5 so that I could meet knight c5 with knight to d2. And I want my bishop playing before I put my knight on d2. Okay, bishop d7. That is a pretty, how to describe? Very non-committal, I guess, would be my first description of that move. No pawn moves. Just bishop d7, huh? Maybe preparing c6, and then on takes the bishop can recapture. Although I don't know if I'll ever be capturing on c6 if c6 is played. So let's see what to do here. My first thought is just bishop to e2. Pretty natural move. Could also consider bishop d3 and on knight c5, bishop c2. Although there could be some conditions where I'd be perfectly fine with giving up my light square bishop, of the two currently, he's my bad bishop. These guys get in his way. So I'm looking at bishop d3 or e2. I think I'm still quite alright with bringing my knight to d2 to defend e4. Yeah, and come to think of it, another reason why I want my bishop on e2, let's just put it on. Another reason to have my bishop on e2 is to stop a knight h5 idea. Once my knight is on d2, my bishop will observe a knight to h5 move, which, by the way, black cannot yet make that move. I'm just realizing that now. I mean, I of course I would see it if the knight moved. I could take the queen, but black still needs to work just a little bit more before this knight can move, and also before the f-pawn can contribute. And this is the direction black should be looking to go in, is playing with the f5 break. So on h6 I'm prepared to come back to e3, really just tucking my bishop away. On knight c5, if I say to myself, well, black can't take twice on e4 and just, if I just castle and reply to knight to c5, that would basically mean I'd be content with giving up my dark square bishop, because this pin can be broken with h6. And if I'm doing anything but capture the knight, then I'll be dropping on e4. As an example, knight c5 castles, h6 bishop h4 can be met with g5, throws a punch, breaks a pin, and then on the next move I drop that e4 pawn. So, short story here is that on knight c5 I need to defend e4 directly, because I'm not a fan of giving up my dark square bishop. Definitely the better of the two bishops. Maybe one of the better pieces in general, minor pieces. Although I have good placements for my knights. So he's in the think tank. Let's see. I've seen a queen e8 idea before. Getting out of the pin and also defending a piece on h5. There can be some tactics white has against a piece on h5. Combined with this f5 move on a capture and a recapture with the g-pawn, there can be a loose piece on h5, which the queen would defend. So let's see. On queen e8, I may play g4 and just try to launch my g and h pawns. This is an idea. I have not committed my king to the kingside. So, yeah, I could go for this stuff. g4, h4. Okay, that is definitely different. I think when we look back on this one, this is a move to question. That is my first impression, because normally the rook would want to stay on the f-file to facilitate this f5 advance. But maybe there's some other idea I'm not considering. How else can this rook, how can this rook's position be justified? Is there some way that the center will open up and this e5 pawn becomes mobile? I don't see how that happens. Well, I am really drawn to just playing g4 here. I wonder if I could still go with something non-committal first. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm still trying to figure out what the idea is behind this move. I wonder if it's to avoid a dark square bishop exchange? But I wasn't even threatening to do that just yet, so I don't know about that being the reason behind rook to e8 at this moment. So I'm eyeing up either g4 or knight to d2 here. But why would I go knight to d2 here? I mean, this is something I would do if this had pressure on it. Well, wait a second. If I play g4, h6, bishop e3, maybe there is some idea with the sacrifice here. Knight takes and then f5, e4. This is the only way I could really justify this move. Huh. Okay, yeah, I don't know. What does Captain Obvious have up his sleeve here? I'm just trying to see the idea. I mean, he really spent some time on that move, so... Huh. I don't see how some sacrifice against e4 could work, though. Like, let's just say knight d2. H6, bishop e3, knight takes e4. My bishop could actually be trapped in a way. Like with my knight on d2 and a bishop on e3, if this f-pawn gets down to f4, my bishop is out of squares. Okay. Am I just seeing things that aren't really there? It's probably the case. But yeah, let's see. Knight d2, h6, bishop e3, knight takes e4, one of my knights takes e4. f5. If my knight goes to g3, f4 hits with the fork. If my knight returns to d2, f4 is winning my dark square bishop. Okay. I could also just try and stop this h6 idea altogether by playing queen to d2. But I take away this square from my knight on knight c5. I don't have knight to d2 anymore. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I feel like this is what's being lined up, though. In order to justify that rook move. I don't see any other point behind it. The center opens up, then this is purposeful. I could always just castle and not go for this g4 stuff. Maybe that's not bad either. Just making a pretty natural looking move. Huh? Yeah, I guess I'm going to... Yeah, I'll... Oh, brother. I'm torn. Queen d2, knight c5, queen e3. I'm going to go for this. Shoot up a lot of time there, but yeah. Queen d2 it is. My queen isn't going to be overly excited, to be sure, if there's pressure on e4 playing queen e3, but alright. Well, the center is opening up. I don't really mind seeing that so much. Because they are in a pin. If the action takes place here on the queen side, I'm cool with that. Let's get on with it. Just castle. I still want to maintain my pawn on d5. it is possible that I could still attack their king by eliminating the dark square bishop and one day having a queen on h6 and knight on g5, possibly. Alrighty. So how are they going to get out of that pin? Knight takes d5, there's knight takes e4. Alright, let's take. I am on their knight now on a6. Both of my bishops have the knights under fire. Queen a5, queen b6. Not a stable square. I could kick her around a little bit. Bishop e3. They are out of the pin now. Well, I feel like I want to give that queen a kick. Just kind of question her position. I don't know that I don't know that this is so much of an inconvenience anymore to have pressure on the knight. These two pieces aren't really playing. I do have to be on the lookout for a rook sacrifice of my knight, with then knight takes e4 ideas. Yeah, this is something to be careful about. Bishop e3, where's the queen going from there? In a way, I feel like I want to put my rook on the open file and have my bishop here to defend my e4 pawn. You know what they're close to doing? They're close to playing knight to c5, adding more pressure here. Rook e1 and then bishop back is another idea. I think I maybe like that idea. Yeah, let me shoot for this. Maybe a bit on the passive side, but I have another idea behind this, and that is to meet some knight maneuver into f4 with bishop to f1. I don't want to give up my dark square bishop for this knight. So on knight c5, I'm prepared to play bishop f1. It may take some more work before I can kick a knight off of the f4 square. Let's go here. This was a possibility. Rook takes knight, knight takes e4. My queen has to defend b1. The more work I was talking about kicking a knight from the f4 square is first king h2 and then g3, if he was already here, because the knight and the bishop on d7 exerts pressure on h3. So if I really want to kick a knight out of the f4 square, sometimes king h2 and then g3 is necessary. For as long as I maintain this battery, this h6 move is not there, although, is it a possibility? You know, h6, if we exchange bishops, queen takes b2, I may end up just losing my knight. I wonder on h6 if I have to come back to e3. So I take the h-pawn, bishop takes, queen takes b2. Where am I going with my knight, who would be under fire by two pieces? Defending him isn't good enough, and moving him, I can't move him forward, the bishop, and I can't move him backwards because then there would be a disconnect between my rooks. Queen takes rook. So on h6, I think I have to play bishop to e3. I don't think I could capture. But I think I'll be okay with playing bishop e3. There you have it. h6 it is. Yeah, queen takes b2 is definitely something quite annoying. However, okay, let's start with this. And I guess the knight is going to go here, huh? Yeah, I guess the knight's going to go there. Do I have to play bishop d3 now? Sharp stuff here. Working right into a pin. Huh. Well, this could be a threat at some point. Once I parry these ideas, or if I can parry these ideas against b2 and e4, one day this might be back on. How can I make that a real threat? Bishop d3 for starters. I don't want to go here into this opposite the rook. Well, rook b1, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes queen, knight takes knight. I don't think I'm coming out ahead on that. I'll be dropping some stuff. Let's get on with bishop d3. There's no knight takes bishop, queen takes, queen takes. A knight takes bishop, I just take the queen. Okay. I think I want to play rook to b1. Yeah. And now I'm prepared to back my bishop up. And then this is at least a threat. I can slowly try to remove this knight. Right around this point, I don't think black is so comfortable having the queen opposite my bishop. So they'll probably try to go elsewhere, and there aren't so many elsewhere squares, let's say. She may have to go back home. Playing to c7 is awkward. At some point, maybe bring my other rook over here. I don't know that he's really necessary, or needed on e4. Less than 4 for me. 17 moves in. Not many exchanges, one pawn each off the board. Yeah, interesting move. Quite timely was that h6, having pressure against b2. The slow removal of this c5 knight that I'm referring to is b3, a3, b4. It must come at a snail's pace. If I play a3 first, a4 locks down on my a3, b2 structure, and I can forget about getting in b4. I can forget about trying to control c5 with the pawn. So if my end objective is to challenge the knight on c5 with the pawn, it must come by way of b3, a3, and only then b4. And as you can tell just by all the words I've had to use there, it takes some time to actually make that happen. Do I have that time? I'm doing nothing about this pin. Huh. If I play b3, queen b4, that would be so aggressive, but maybe it's alright. Huh. Tough, tough, tough. I feel like this is something a computer would do. If I played b3, queen b4 would be a move. Stopping a3, putting pressure on my knight. I'm at 3. Wow. I feel like f5 is right around the corner as well. Well, I'm going to voluntarily remove my bishop from d3, I think. Yeah, let me do this right now. No, I don't have this move. For a second I was thinking I have knight... Maybe I do. This is a bit of a debatable move. I'm going to try it. The idea behind it is actually a bad one. Yeah, I'm just realizing this now. I was prepared to meet knight to f4 with knight to d2, but then a knight could hop into d3. This was a bad idea. But I could maybe try to justify it on knight f4. I can play this earlier mentioned king h2 and g3 to kick this knight away. As it stands right now, this also comes with a threat. I believe I am now back on to capture h6. Knight f4 interferes with that idea, however, then king h2 threatens g3 and then, once again, a capture on h6. They may have to play king h7, and they're still in this pin. For as long as this knight remains in a pin, I don't have to work around this c8 rook. His presence is not yet felt until this pin is no longer. Alrighty. Yeah, my bishop was no longer needed to defend e4 as soon as this knight released pressure on e4. So that's important to note. They could return to f6, and in a way they're maybe saying draw. But I wouldn't want to go for some repetition. No, I don't know that that would actually be a good move, no. Knight f6, I can move my bishop. My rook is there to defend e4. There is no queen takes b2 in this case. So this is... Oh, that is so weakening, man. So weakening. g4. That doesn't feel right, though. I feel like there's some cases now where I could give up my bishop for the knight, and what I want right now is a light square bishop exchange and drop a knight in there. I don't know how I could pull that off, though. If I play g3, my bishop has to defend this point. Maybe king h2 first. Let's play king h2. Let's get a quick move in there. Yeah. King h2 first. So that's how they defended h6. Interesting. Wow. You're just going right for my throat here. Is that what's happening? Well, it's opening up. Do I not have an ensuing g4 move? Right now, f4 is pretty serious. Wow. Oh, they are on my rook on the recapture. Man. Holy cow. E takes f5, bishop takes, I have to move my rook. This knight is unprotected. Where's their tactic? Is there any tactic here? Don't have much time. Well, I'm gonna take, and I guess we're going to put the rook here. I guess. Scary. Wasn't expecting that move. Giving up this square here. Okay, well now I have some squares to eye up. Their king is more open than my own, although at the moment I am on this open diagonal. Bishop here. On knight here, I definitely have to take him out. That can't be right though. I'm on the bishop right now. There still is this pin. Knight, a loose piece on h5. I'm not so sure about this e4 move. It attacked my knight, but also improved my knight. It reminded me that maybe there's a better square for him. I may just want to drop in here as a pawn sacrifice. Forget about pawn sacrifice. I mean, he can't be taken here. Let's drop in right now. There's still this pin. I think this is the best spot. I am in check. I'm now out of check. I'm threatening to take this knight in one way or the other, and then maybe even push this guy. This is a strong piece. This is a really strong piece. I could try to remove him. Bishop d4. I think this is the most valuable piece, the bishop right here. Yeah, this seems good. Let's do it. Bishop here, this is covered. Still in a pin. On bishop takes bishop, queen takes, there's still a pin, and my queen is hitting everything. Possibilities for maybe a mate on g7 one at some stage. Wow, what a very tense middle game here. Easy, very easy to lose track of what in the world is going on. Right now I think I have some idea of taking the knight, taking a bishop, and maybe dropping my bishop into c4. I'm looking at black's most forward pieces and really trying to knock them out. Right now this knight on d3, that could be quite serious, of course, on a recapture by the pawn. It's now a passed pawn who has the defense of the bishop. That can be something quite valuable for black. So I'll be trying to steer clear of that. Knight takes d5 is not working to remove the support of the knight because I get to recapture and throw a punch at the queen. Black's queen does not have very many safe squares, by the way. Like b4 is the only one. I don't know how good that is. They may play queen b4. Who knows? I'm at exactly 1 minute. 25 moves played. Only a couple pawns gone. The long-term thing that I'm seeing here that's in my favor is the king position. So I want at this king somehow. Ideally, I'd like to keep the queens on the board. It may turn out that... Okay. Let's take with the queen. It may turn out that I just exchange queens in order to play a little bit faster. So we have that first offer, don't we? Just as I said it. I'm going to decline. I want the queens on board. Yeah, let's keep the queens on board. Right now, maybe I can poke around at these dark squares some. h4 is an idea. It seems very aggressive, looking to drop in here. I might allow that. I have a knight that's anchored pretty deep in black's position. Doesn't get much deeper than that. I mean, this is a really good square. Maximum number of moves in this section. Black side of the board. h4, how would they defend g5? On a push or a capture, queen takes h6 must be crushing. This is still not a way to undermine the pawn. Even if it is at some point a way to win a pawn, it's always a bit tricky. Knight is within checking distance. I think I can go for this. Let's throw it in there. See how they defend these dark squares. Actually, this pawn on g5, I'm just realizing now, cannot be defended. I believe that this is a good move. I have pressure on g5 with also my knight. Currently, he's hit 3 times, defended once. It's unlikely there is a way for black to defend this a third time. Takes, queen takes h6 is threatening mate. Could they at that point maybe capture my knight and then capture on b2? I somehow think that's not working. Under 4 minutes for Team Black. I'm glad it's a 10-second increment right around this point with such a tense position. Let's see. He captures. Gonna go in for that, are you? Queen takes h6. Yeah, I guess we're going to see. Mate threat. Wow. I did not see that. Queen takes f2. What a star move. Oh, that's nice, man. Wow. Queen takes f2. I love it. Can I still avoid the queen exchange? Queen takes queen, knight g4. I'm going to try and keep the queens on. Playing very fast. Wow. I guess rook here. If that knight moves, I have mate. My queen's defending the rook. Also, I'm walking now. If this knight moves, I have the bishop. The knight is defending this square. Wow, it's just barely held together here, but the pieces are doing enough. I wanted to stop knight g3. Whew. Bishop e2 and then take the knight. Maybe I could have gone for this right away. Bishop e2 is maybe better. Yeah, maybe bishop e2 was more to the point, looking to remove the knight and then mate on g7. Wow. My queen can't go too far. Yeah. I don't have much time. Let's try this. Knight check, can I step up? I don't think I can. I could play knight to g4. If I step up, I'm running right into knight g4. Knight g3, I think I have to take. And then play my rook to f1. There's rook h7. Phew. Oh, man. Now I definitely cannot take. Because that rook is there. Wow. Bishop is pinned. Oh my goodness. That is a killer move. Oh, I'm busted. h3? Whew. I don't have a move. I don't see a move. I'm down on time as well. We got pawn takes pawn as a mate discovered check and also just queen takes g2. It's typing good game. Definitely good game. What a rich position. Wow. There must have been a lot of stuff missed in this position right around here. But queen takes f2. What a nice shot. I totally did not see that one coming. That was smooth. Oh, I really like that. Is h4 not a good move then? Because of this shot on f2? It was really nice how it was played out. The rook there sweeping in to defend the mate, and then all of a sudden becoming an attacking piece. That was really nice. That was really, really nice. I got to share a lot because of the time control. Let me go into the analysis, and we'll have a look at it with Stockfish, of course. But I pretty much was able to share everything I wanted to during play. Yeah, I think once it heats up, I'll have a look at this point. I spent a lot of time with this queen to d2 move. I think it's fine. We'll see what was missed. Yeah, well, there must have been some tactics overlooked. G5 is so committal. I still think this is fine, what I did with King H2. And then after Knight D4, I was really feeling comfortable here. Yeah, I was feeling really comfortable with the knight dropping into E6. Bishop D4. I wonder if there's something better than Bishop D4. Maybe some sacrifice here. I could have also considered... it's a bit tough to do, but I guess I could have considered at this point a capture and then Bishop C4. Playing with this pass pawn. But, I mean, that is a really strong knight. At the same time, this is a pretty strong knight, but not at the moment. He is pinned. Possibly starting with Bishop C4? Wow. Yeah, there must be a lot of stuff missed right around this stage. It's such a lively position. It seemed logical enough to exchange off dark square bishops. He is a pretty good piece. And then the offer of a queen exchange. I want to keep the queens on because I felt like I could get at their king, but as it turned out, it was my king under fire because of that queen takes f2. Star move, man. Star move. Maybe I have to do something other than h4 here. Because on takes, if I don't have this move, then what do I have? I mean, I played this, queen takes f2. If I'm taking, I don't even know. I guess they have their options of what knight to drop into g4. There goes my queen, and I'm down a pawn. And to deal with that. Yeah, totally overlooked queen takes f2. Great move. So, with that, I guess h4 is out. I would have to try something else. There is some other stuff, I guess. No, I don't even know. This bishop, he has a responsibility to watch over d3. I don't want him to go too far. I don't know. Seems like one of those dynamically equal positions? I don't know. This is a strong knight. Once we got to this point, I don't think I have anything. Everything is just held together barely, but knight h5, wow, defending mate and ready to throw some punches. I think after my next move, I'm dead. This is as it stands right now. It's just barely holding. It feels like for me here with these black pieces swarming in, and just adding one more, just a feather more, and it's just going to collapse under its own weight. Yeah, maybe this is the last moment where I could try something. Maybe that something is bishop to e2. I do not know. No, I think they could. I think he could still go in for this check here. No, not quite. Trying to take out the bishop and then follow up with the fork runs into mate. So black could hold off if I played bishop e2, maybe this move. Now then I'm taking the knight. But maybe at this point there's h3. On pawn takes, knight here is checkmate. At least my rook move prevented this pawn advance. But I think I'm busted here. I'm only attacking with two pieces, and they have a couple knights and a queen. She can't get too much closer than my own king. Too much closer to my king. Wow. Well, let's load up Stockfish and see what it has to say about this really sharp game out of the King's Indian. Okay, Stockfish, let's see where we made some mistakes. Let's open our eyes here to some tactics. There must be some tactics in this game. So let's get to something that's a bit on the critical side. Okay, yeah, I wanted to quickly question this move here, queen d2. It's not so much a fan of queen to d2. Castles, a3. What might have been one of the ideas behind a3 to quickly address a knight position on c5? Maybe kill the knight altogether. It's not showing as a3 now, but for a moment it did pop up a3. Now it wants to go with h6 and then bishop e3. Knight c5, knight d2. a5, b4. Okay, yeah, you can see how this a3 move plays a role. May seem a little bit odd right now, but the idea is to kick that knight out of c5. So this is an idea. a3. Queen d2. Castles. And now what? Yeah, I don't see myself playing queen c1 here. Rook f to b1. Played rook e1. Well, if I play rook a to b1 and knight c5, now queen e3. Yeah, they had that timely move in with h6. I wonder if they gained a little bit by being able to get that in, because it was tactically there because of the ensuing queen takes b2. We'll have a look at that to just confirm that indeed this capture of h6 was indeed not a good idea. So this is when it's hitting h6. So let's just make sure. Oh, I could get away with this. Oh wow. With knight b5 as a follow-up, and then rook a to b1 idea. I could take on h6. Queen takes b2. I could play into b5. Bishop takes b5. There's rook a to b1, and I get this piece back. Ah, so this is something we both missed. So otherwise, h6 wouldn't have been played. If black isn't netting a piece, you know, in this case, the h-pawn is far more important. Losing the h-pawn, you know, I lose the b-pawn, my opponent loses the h-pawn. The h-pawn is more important to black than my b-pawn is important to me. Because also my queen is right there, deep in black's position, and then there's even follow-up knight g5 ideas, and I could try to remove the knight. Let me just put it on. So something like this. We didn't calculate this out far enough. Bishop takes, the rook has to move somewhere. I don't even know. Maybe here. Something like, just to highlight this position right here, it's super important that knight never move, and I could try to get in something like this. Take him out and then look for mate. Okay, well, neither of us took this calculation moment, the capture on h6, far enough. I just saw it as queen takes b2, and where am I going with the knight? We didn't see this follow-up idea of rook to b1 to get the piece back. Otherwise, you know, I am dead, because my knight is hit twice. I drop my rook. If he goes back, he goes here. There's bishop takes knight. Okay, well, I could have captured on h6. I drop back, which is still fine. In fact, it says it's one of the top moves here. It's suggesting bishop e3, but still, had I calculated well enough here, I would be going for the capture on h6 here. Okay. And now there's another opportunity to take. Okay, well, I missed the idea altogether, so I didn't think that was there. Got a5. Let's get to another interesting position. King h2 doesn't want to do a3 instead. I wanted to shy away from this, not only for this, but because of this locking down on the structure. Okay, I guess many different ideas. Queen d1 was being pointed out. Looking for a knight move attacking. Looking for, yeah, a knight move to attack the knight on h5. With king h2, f5, and here we go. Things are heating up. It's not a fan of that move because of knight d4. What does it want to do instead? Knight f6, get the knight back in the ball game. Although I must say, I thought that maybe still dropping into f4 was pretty good. You know, and with one of the ideas being to eye up the d3 square. There's 3 pieces converging on that square. Although at the moment there isn't time to really drop in there, is there? I could give him a boot and take twice on this square, because in the end I'm getting the queen, so the end result of this would be 2 minor pieces. I'd get 2 minor pieces and they'd get a rook. Yeah. So I guess the timing would be off with knight to f4. But this felt like it helped, and the computer says it does help. It's pointing out a pretty good shift in the evaluation right around here with e4. So knight f6 better. And then knight a4. Still, who knows? This evaluation is basically call it even with how sharp it is. One little slip by either of us and could be way downhill. Knight d4, knight e6, bishop e5, king g1. Maybe I should have played h1, come to think of it. So this tactic wasn't there with queen f2, 5 moves down the line. No, that's too far ahead. I'm not going to see that. King g1. Bishop d4. Is it okay with this idea? I guess it is. Another move is bishop e2. Just kind of holding ground. Bishop b5 is another move. Bishop b5 is another move. Yeah, I didn't consider that. I right around this point I just said to myself, this is the strong bishop, let's try to remove him. Bishop e5. Okay. Knight c to d7, good move, offering a queen exchange. Queen d2. Wow. Knight e5, and it does want to go with h4. But not the capture on h6. After g takes h4 to play bishop b5. Yeah, well, I just didn't see the tactic. I don't know what else to say. I didn't see that shot. Maybe I should have sensed that there was something, as otherwise why would black have allowed me to sweep in so deep into the position here? Yeah, it's just a nice shot. Missed it. Definitely missed it. Bishop b5. Now e3. No. Let's just make a human move like this. Now knight to a4. Oh. Okay, this is clever. The rook stepping up makes this rook unprotected, and now there's knight discoveries. Oh. A discovered attack against the rook with the shot at the queen. Ah, that's pretty slick. Could I have not just played bishop b5 right here first? The same idea if the rook steps up. It wants to go with rook takes c3. So this makes me question something. What is the difference? Like, after here captures, bishop b5 is fine, and it's not suggesting rook takes knight here. So what's the difference? You follow that? Like, at this point, if I'm playing instead of h4 capture and then bishop b5, it's saying bishop b5 first can be met with now rook takes c3. And then rook takes c3. Maybe something related to the queen being able to sweep in timely into h6. Yeah, that must be what it is. So let's have a look. On h4 captures bishop b5. Now let's suppose rook takes knight. This isn't working because now the queen is on b5, and there is no longer this tactic against f2. And my queen enters with authority. In this case, boy, it sure felt good during the game to play my queen here, but that was rattled off very fast. They knew it beforehand. Before I captured here, they had that one lined up. I see now. Queen f2, top suggestion, as we expected, but not a decisive shot. Queen takes f2, king h1, still a draw, apparently. Knight h5, and now this next one, as I suspected. This next move is going to be losing for me. I played rook e3, and now it is gone. Yeah. What did I need to do? I needed to capture on e4. Wow. Well, I don't think I could have even calculated much at all right around this point, but knight takes e4. Let's just investigate it a little bit. Knight takes e4, rook takes c1 first. Rook takes c1, and if bishop takes knight, I get this guy. Still, look at the evaluation. Tough to crunch the numbers in this one. Super sharp. Rook e3, and it's just gone from here. Let's see. Well, that's not the top move, but it should be good enough. -2. And with some time to think, it's just growing. Bishop e2, and yeah, goodbye, Team White. Rook h7 is fantastic. Not a hard move to see at this point, but just the idea. You know, rook e7, defend the mate. All of a sudden, this rook, right out of left field, has some mating idea, calling for a mate in 10. Knight g3, king h2, h3, and at this point I resigned. It's a mate in 4. Let's see what the finishing move is to stop this. So I guess taking the knight. H takes g2. And here are the computer suggestions, just pitching pieces. Queen h4, and we could have had on board a discovered checkmate. Rook h3. And then, oh, I guess they have their pick at this point. The knight could even go into g4 for mate. That would have been a nice finish, but could also just promote. For a double checkmate, yeah. Totally missed the queen takes f2 move. That was quite a roller coaster moment, I guess you could say, in the game, because it's right around this point where I thought, wow, my queen is super active. She's hitting everything. She's right near the king, mate in 1 threat. And then, hang on. I have a queen in your position. Queen takes f2 check with knight g4 idea. That was a sharp game. That was one of the more fun standard games I've played in a while. Awesome. Okay, well, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.